Marvel Rivals has a problem in competitive, which makes it very difficult to progress any further than bronze rank. If you're a high elo player, this problem won't really affect you as you'll be able to carry your team to wins, but it gets a lot more difficult if you're a mid or low elo player. And this problem is that everyone, regardless of skill level, is automatically placed in bronze 3, as opposed to having to play placement matches like most other competitive games, meaning that every single player that plays in competitive will play in bronze at least for a bit. As I just mentioned, if you're a high elo player, this won't cause you any more problems than just being an inconvenience and getting to a high rank quickly. But if you're a mid or low elo player, it makes things much more difficult. The people who have it worst are the genuine bronze players, who have no choice but to be constantly matched with smurfs, intentional or not on their part. This means that they aren't often playing people actually at their skill level, and it's basically impossible for them to get a full lobby of genuine bronze level players, thus making it incredibly difficult for them to progress any further than bronze. I would also imagine it's not really an enjoyable experience for them, as they'll most likely just be getting destroyed every game, so a lot of bronze level players probably don't even play competitive, rather opting for quick play, which saturates the bronze rank with even more players who are too good to be there, and not enough genuine bronze players. But it's not easy for some of those players who are too good to be in bronze either, as I found out from my own experience. Over the last few days, I've been playing competitive for the first time in Season 1.5, and it took me 3.6 hours and 10 wins in 23 games to progress from bronze 2 up to silver 3. I'm by no means a high elo player, but I would consider myself a gold level player, considering that the ranks of my friends who have played much more ranked this season range between silver 2 and plat 1. I think this has led me to be in a situation where I'm too good to be in bronze, but not good enough to be able to properly carry my team to a win, which has made it quite difficult to get out of bronze. Don't get me wrong, I did have a few pretty easy games, and most games I was one of the better players on my team, shown by this stretch of 4 M or SVPs in 5 games, but I did also have some pretty difficult games where I just got destroyed. And even in that stretch of 5 games, 3 of the VPs were SVPs, which showed to me I was just a good player on a bad team, not able to progress because my team around me wasn't good enough to be able to help me get the win. But that's the point, I need a good team around me to get the wins, as I'm not good enough to carry a team to a win, especially in bronze when much of the other teams will also likely be smurfs. All in all, getting out of bronze was a very frustrating experience for me, and it took a lot longer than I'd anticipated. I think a lot of other players will share a similar experience. A lot of this frustration was caused by the fact I was playing solo, relying on teammates of which I had no idea of their skill level. It was complete luck of the draw what sort of teammates I would end up with. Sometimes I would get teammates who were all coordinated, picking a balanced lineup of heroes and coordinating with the in-game chat so we could actually work together effectively as a team to get wins. On the flip side, I would sometimes end up with a team full of people who would just insta-lock DPS, not use the in-game chat, and constantly run straight to the objective, creating a perpetual cycle of deaths and leading to the team being miles apart and never grouping up. This is much of the reason as to why I got stuck in bronze for so long, as I would end up with a team full of genuine bronze players who I was just not able to coordinate and lead into battle because they refused to coordinate, and I'm not good enough to carry. This was probably the most frustrating thing for me about playing in bronze, because I knew I was better than the rest of my team and I was able to go toe to toe with the enemy team, but my teammates were costing me wins because they weren't good enough or were making bad decisions during games. That's not to say I didn't have bad games and didn't make mistakes, because I definitely did, but I didn't make as many as my teammates in these games, and in the games I did lose badly, I would say that most of the time it was more just down to the enemy team being better than me as opposed to me playing badly. However, not all my losses were down to this, as I did end up playing against some legitimate smurfs as well. By this I mean people who are likely high elo players who are deliberately playing in bronze just so they can win, or terrorize low elo players, or get an ego boost, or basically just do anything to ensure that everybody hates them. And for some reason these players always seem to be an Iron Fist, as I had a string of games where I was just constantly being terrorized by Iron Fists who should be nowhere near bronze. Where the games with lower quality teammates against equal opponents just felt demoralizing to lose, these games against much better opponents were infuriating because I just didn't know what to do and I wasn't able to counter them because I'm just not good enough. But these are extreme cases. Most of the smurfs I came up against were most likely just players like myself, stuck in bronze and having to work their way through it to get to a higher rank. And that brings us to the real issue of Marvel Rivals' competitive system: players being put straight in bronze. It means that the bronze rank isn't actually a real bronze rank, because most of the people playing in it aren't actually at bronze level, meaning that most of the lobbies you play in are actually higher rank lobbies than they appear to be on paper. From my experience over the last few days, I could end up in lobbies ranging anywhere in ability from genuine bronze lobbies to platinum or diamond lobbies, and I'd have no idea what I'd end up in before going into the game. However, I think most of the players I played with were probably somewhere between silver and platinum ranks, as I think this is probably the low and high end of the ability of the average player. This probably makes the average bronze lobby more akin to a high silver or low gold lobby, as the genuine bronze players bring down the average quality a bit. However, it's worth noting that these won't be like genuine higher ranked lobbies, as there are players of all abilities in bronze, so you could end up with a team with 6 players ranging all the way from bronze to celestial, making playing in bronze rank such an inconsistent experience. Due to the disparity in player abilities, it was rare that I would play a game that I felt was actually balanced, a close game where either team could have won if things had gone their way. Most games that I played ended up being a fairly easy win for one team or the other, either because the losing team were full of genuine bronze players going up against high elo players just trying to get out of bronze, or because the winning team was full of high elo smurfs just using the enemy team for light entertainment. To counter this, I propose 2 solutions to this problem, both of which I believe will improve the situation. The first one is obvious: placement games. These placement games would likely play out fairly similarly to how bronze lobbies do now, as you would have 12 players all of varying abilities playing with each other. However, this wouldn't be such a frustrating experience, as you'd only have to play a few of these games and then you get put in your actual rank. And even if the rank you get put in isn't quite right, it'll be a lot closer to the rank you actually belong in than being in bronzes. Unless you actually belong in bronze, that is. Because this also solves the issue for bronze players, as they will actually get their rank to themselves and be able to play with people all of the same ability, and it will be much easier for them to improve and rank up. Obviously, there'll still be smurfs who will throw their placement games to get placed in bronze, but these will be much easier to spot and report, as they'll stand out against all the other bronze players, as opposed to now, as you have no idea whether you're playing against someone who's smurfing intentionally, or they're just there because they have to progress through the lower ranks. The second solution I propose will still involve starting everyone in the same rank, but starting them in a higher rank. This is a less optimal solution than having placement games, but I think it will be better than starting everyone in bronze. For example, if you started everyone in gold or platinum, the players who genuinely belong in those ranks will have a less difficult time playing against the high elo players in their rank than the bronze players currently do. These lobbies will essentially be the same as the bronze lobbies are currently, but I think it's more fair. Lower elo players will have to go through a bit of pain, probably losing a fair few games while they rank down, but once they get to that actual rank, it will be a better experience than it is currently. And high elo players will have a much easier time progressing to their rank, as they will have less ranks to actually progress through to reach it. The people this is most unfair to are the mid elo players like myself. However, I still think it would be a better situation than it is currently. I think it would be more fair for the mid elo players to play in the lobbies they are currently playing in if they were already at, or at least near to the rank they're meant to be at. I'd much rather have 10 wins in 22 games in gold and have no promotions or relegations than have 10 wins in 22 games in bronze just to get to silver 3. Overall, Marvel Rivals has a rank problem that needs solving. Ultimately, it probably won't be though. I hope they do decide to sort it though, because I think that would lead to a much better experience for everyone playing competitive. If they are to do something, I think the most likely solution they will favour is using a placement game system. It's tried and tested and has proven to be effective. Whatever they choose to do, it will benefit players of all skill levels. Low elo players need a place where they can play exclusively against other low elo players, so they are able to improve at the game and rank up in a fair environment. Mid elo players need a place where they can play with other mid elo players at all times and not have to worry about relying on teammates to be able to get to the rank they belong at. And high elo players need to be kept away from low and mid elo players so they don't end up ruining their experiences. Let me know in the comments about your experiences with ranked, and if you agree with me, and if you agree with my solutions to the problem, and what your solutions would be. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you want to see more from me, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.